Hey, so today on Tuesday Tip, I wanted to talk to you about, well, some drainage. I know that sounds really weird because we live in Georgia and it's hot and dry most of the time, but everybody's decided to build these houses really, really close together. And so I wanted to talk to you today about that drainage between you and your neighbor. We get a lot of calls a lot of times because the neighbor runs their irrigation system for 40 minutes and you run yours for 30, and you got heads on both sides. So what's the solution? And so I wanted to kind of give you some tips on that. So a couple things to keep in mind. One tip out of the gate, if you have that kind of a situation, is turn the irrigation heads down. So on your side, if you've got yours, turn it down 20 minutes a zone, turn it down to 10 minutes a zone, and kind of test it out and see if that'll do better for that area. That is the cheapest way to do it. Maybe have a conversation with your neighbor, see if your neighbor and you can work together and get a game plan so that you have alternating watering schedules, so that way you're not watering so much at the same place. If you go beyond that and you still, maybe you don't get along with your neighbor, I have seen that in neighborhoods, or you don't want to talk to the neighbor, whatever the case, then you can get into some drains. So I'm holding today a piece of channel drain pipe here. So there are numbers of different kinds of types of drains out there. This is a 4-inch corrugated drain. And so when we get into drainage systems, there's a couple different things you keep in mind. One, you can dig a trench in there, fill it with number 57 stone, which is a gravel, and then you put a drain, 4-inch drain like this in there that has holes in it, and then you can put 57 stone back on top of that and then cover it with dirt, and that creates a French drain situation. A lot of people call me and they say, hey, well, we want you to come and look at our drain. We get out there and it's a surface drain. So French drains will carry water under the ground. So it has to literally soak into the ground, soaks into the channel that you've created with the rock, and then it drains out. That works really good. However, if you have surface water, we'll call it puddles or just a wet spot, you may also want to look at doing a catch basin. So you can get these catch basins that have a grate on the top. The water drains into those. You have to grade the land so that the water will go into those drains. But that really helps with surface water drain because a lot of times people will have a low spot and the water they'll be like, it's really mushy and wet. That's a French drain. If you have a lot of water on top of the ground, that would be a surface drain. Also could be done with a catch basin. If you have a drain issue along the side of a driveway, so there is a channel drain that's created, and it's a drain that sits right along the edge of your concrete, the water runs into it and runs into that drain and then drains out. So just a couple simple, easy ways to take care of that irrigation between, or that wet spot or that issue between you and the neighbor. One, turn your irrigation heads down. Number two, maybe adjust or get some better or modification to your irrigation system as far as your irrigation heads. There's a lot of different heads out there that can throw different amounts of water. Then you get into your drain systems. French drains, again, French drain is in the ground. It has 57 stone. Do not use crush and run, that sort of thing, because that's not going to allow the water to get into it. It's going to make a hard, packed area. So you got that. And then you also have your catch basins that you can put in the yard for your surface water. Keep in mind, water will always use the least path of resistance. It's going to flow downhill, and it's going to find the easiest path, and that's what it's looking for. So if you can create that path by drains and by catch basins or French drains, and then the channel drains, then you're going to get that water and get it moved away. One other area to keep in mind is, as you are out there looking in your yard, look at your downspouts. Your downspouts come off your house, and if everybody's downspout in the neighborhood, or you and your neighbor, dumps into an area, keep that in mind, because if that water is dumping into that area, you may also want to use some solid drain pipe and drain that out of the area as well. So hopefully these are some helpful tips. If you and your neighbor have a hard time with your issue or low spot drainage issues between your house, always give us a call. We're more than happy to help.